I saw you did the podcast you did with Andrew Tate was like one of the most entertaining, greatest podcasts ever.
Yeah, how was that?
It was great. Yeah.
So you obviously
went to
there?
Bucharest. Yeah, I went there July. Yeah, it's like wow, pretty recently. Now I'm thinking about it. It was freaking hot. Man.
What did you think of him overall?
So I knew Andrew. My husband, I had met him one time before, prior to that, which is crazy because he wasn't this huge. Well, he was big in the UK, but he wasn't big in America, and he's just gone way more international now. It's amazing to see, and I knew going into it that we were going to have a good conversation because I'm not one of these people that ever wants to sit someone down for a gotcha interview. I was fascinated by Andrew Tate because of the power that he's acquired. You know, this is a person who's being banned in UK schools, right? Because kids are going like, their teachers are brokies. So like, what color is your Bugatti? That's funny. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's funny to think of middle school kids like calling their teachers brokies and asking them what color their Bugattis are. And I have a good sense of humor about that. I think little boys are funny. It's harmless, whatever. But I was genuinely fascinated by what he had built for himself, coming from nothing. And that's always for me where I'm going to level the playing field because I knew that we had that in common. And so there was a natural amount of respect in the room to even start a conversation, you know, where I think everyone else goes in there and they're trying to attack him. And, you know, people are trying to, that people are angry at the fact that there's this masculine moment that's rising and they want to blame Andrew Tate on it. And they don't want to actually examine how we got here, which is, you know, the Lena Dunhams of the world. Mm-hmm. And so it was great. You know, it was, and I wanted to wait too. I knew in the beginning he was gonna, you know, be more of the Andrew Tate. I always say like Andrew Tate, the character, because I'm friends with so many like MMA fighters and they all have like the character that's in the ring and they need that character because you're going in to try to kill someone, right?
Right.
But then when you peel behind it, they are really interesting people, like very interesting, level-headed, well thought out. People think that they're stupid and they're not. And so I wanted to see that side of Andrew and I got it, you know, and I think people saw a different side of him and learned more about him. And so I was, you know, I felt it was great and people were mad at me. Whatever.
Do you think he's like the right representation of what a man should try and be like?
I think Andrew is in the middle of a transition.
Definitely.
That is how I've read him. I think Andrew was kind of doing whatever. He was young on the internet saying whatever. And now a lot of that stuff is trying to come back to haunt him, but he's just like doesn't care. And you can see, and that's why I said to him in the interview, I said, you know, you've got a lot of power now and you do have to make a pivot because when people are hanging, when these young kids in particular, these middle schoolers that love his every word, are hanging on your every word, and you know why, because he understands why, because they come from fatherless backgrounds and they're looking for that paternity elsewhere, and you've become this cultural figure. And so with great power comes great responsibility. And I've seen him making that transition. And I've tried to communicate that to people who don't understand that. They are just he wasn't perfect when he arrived. Why wasn't he, you know, a perfect Christian conservative? Because he didn't have the opportunities you had in life. And he did pretty darn good for himself. So let's give him a runway to really do some good. And I think he's doing that right now.
Yeah, because I think he's chilled out on like the girls topics a lot. And like at the beginning, I could tell he was some of the shit he was saying, he was just completely trolling.
Yeah.
Like he was like a very serious stand-up comedian. But like some people took it seriously. Obviously, it's the internet. But I could like anyone that found him funny knew like he's not going to take 100% of his girlfriend's OnlyFans. Like when we went to his house, there was OnlyFans girls there. And it's like, he's not taking 100%. Yeah. Like you could tell he's trolling. Yeah.
And then someone finds it and makes it serious. And people were doing this over and over. And I was like, this is weird. Like he once, he was so obviously trolling. And I swear a bunch of conservatives took it seriously. He was like, listen to me. Like, if Hulk Hogan had a vagina, you know, or Megan Fox had a penis.
Yeah.
Who would you sleep with? And then conservatives were like, he's pushing the transgender. I'm like, this is the most obvious, like, troll meant to be hilarious for a 13-year-old to watch. Like, he just said Hulk Hogan with a vagina. The fact that you're trying to make this a serious, like...
I don't think I could answer that one either. That's a really tough decision.
Right. And then people were trying to make it so serious. And so sometimes the humor gets lost. And I think that because of what's going on in Romania, people just... You know, they see somebody drowning and they want to step on their heads. There's something sadistic about it, but I see it happen over and over and over.